back and acting better than ever. I might have a entertaining video for the Peziantes today. So C. Lori, I don't know if anybody has looked at too much about my past and seen like the things that I've had to deal with in my life, but I thought it'd be funny and interesting to make this video today because C. Lori a couple months ago showed up in Texas to harass me more, and she came and sat outside my house for 15 hours waiting for me to come out. She went into my backyard and I could hear her because there's the window right here. And she was literally outside my window, and that's where the cord to my AT&T internet is. And she was like, "What if we just cut his internet? Then he'll have to come out of the house." And I could hear her whispering, and then her friend, who is like not as insane as her, was like, "I don't think we can do that. I think that's illegal." Like, how is this possible, man? So she followed me to Texas to harass me, and so she sat outside for 15 hours, and I thought I didn't notice her. Like, she was like staked out in a car like cops, but she's of course obviously so much lower IQ that she is the most obvious person. She's literally like Smeagol, like AFK right on top of Frodo, sleeping with Frodo or something. So I thought it'd be funny to make this video, and of course I didn't say a word to her. And she tried to block my car, and then she tried to park the car directly in the driveway. So she tried to block me from getting out, and going to my job, because I had a job for about 2 weeks there. Legendary. But I didn't say a single word because I vowed to never speak or talk to her ever again, and I still haven't. My vow, when the Maestro makes a vow, he always keeps it pure of heart, true to the bitter end. But I thought it'd be a cool video to make, a video about my life prior and the things that I've had to go through that make the Maestro the way he is today. An absolute unstoppable hero against the tides of death. A crusader of light. A vintage badass striding across the battlefield. Anyway, we'll start like when I was born. So I was born in 1996. I'm of course 21 right now. 21 for 7 years in a row. So I first grew up because my dad kicked me and C. Lori out of the house. So I had to live with my grandma until I was like 5 years old. Then we moved back in with my dad, my biological dad. I don't call him my dad. I haven't talked to any of them in 10 years. And of course, C. Lori since I left 4 years ago. And I'll never talk to her again, of course. And they will see me succeed against all odds because the Maestro never gives up in this world. I will never give up. Maestro's eyes rolled in the back of that. Maestro is performing an exorcism still. We moved back in with my dad, my biological dad, when I was 5. And then the thing is, we lived in like a hoarder house, which I didn't even know like what that was until I watched the show Hoarders. And I realized that was literally our house. Like, it was worse than I don't know how we weren't on this TV show. I could have made some money here. This house was stacked full. You could not move. Every single room. And so this house had like a basement, but it wasn't a basement. It was like basically a whole down. It wasn't a basement. It was an entire downstairs where you're supposed to live in. And we couldn't live in that at all. That was chock full. You couldn't walk. You couldn't move. It was completely full of everything you could possibly. I don't even understand what was down there. Yet you couldn't walk. I literally don't know. No one knew. No one knew what was down there. Yet it was chock full of everything. And there was another room, and then the garage. Everything was full. You couldn't move in any of. You couldn't walk in the hallway. You couldn't move. You couldn't do anything. And then the upstairs. So there was like a stairway, and then a second stairway. It would be a stairway, and then a second stairway to get up to the top. And everything there was chock full, except maybe the kitchen. The kitchen was the cleanest room, probably, somehow, even though there's ants crawling all over. And all I remember is the ants being in my Capri Suns and crawling all over me, and the centipedes and stuff. The nasty, disgusting 1,000-leggers. I guess that's a good way to describe C. Lori, a 1,000-legger. Atrocious witch of the West. But so all I remember was everything. There was only little paths that you could barely get through, and you couldn't even get to the dining room. You couldn't get to the living room. So we would just sit on top of things, and to like sit, and every single room chock full. And I didn't know it. I didn't even think about it until like the last couple of years that I literally lived in a hoarder house. The first house that we lived in, and of course my dad was super abusive, and obviously would try to hit me, and C. Lori was not as bad because she felt like I think she had to like she could fight against him instead of me. So it wasn't that. I mean, she was still absolutely insane because she was of course deathly afraid of everything. So she was afraid of like any type of germs. Like she would have to bubble wrap an entire room to open up a piece of mail because she thought there was anthrax in there. Like Osama bin Laden gave a shit about her. He would probably, just from looking at a picture of C. Lori, Osama bin Laden probably would have died because of how disgusting she is. But she would have to like she couldn't go out in public, like all these things. And she obviously didn't let me have a normal childhood. Like I was supposed to grow up to be like 6'2", 6'3", but then I didn't get fed all throughout. I didn't get fed ever. Like I never got fed in general. Like when I was at the house, and then I went to school with like no lunch. So I was the only kid like who had no lunch and was just sitting there AFK all day, just with nothing to eat. So I didn't get like the nourishment I was supposed to get. So I just had to like press on with high fructose corn syrup in my veins like an absolute hero with my blood blowing blue outside my body to barely get my nourishment, and like steal chicken patties and stuff from the ugly lunch lady with the wart on her face. Her and C. Lori probably would get along really good. So I didn't have a normal childhood. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I wasn't allowed to play video games. I wasn't allowed to watch movies. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I wasn't even allowed to like read books because she thought if I read a book that was violent or played a video game that was violent, then I was going to go around killing people. Little did she know. Big damn. So I wasn't allowed to do anything a normal kid would do. Plus, I had no personality whatsoever. Back then, I had no personality. I didn't know how to act around other people because I don't remember a single conversation ever that I had between C. Lori and my biological dad. Like, I don't remember a single conversation where they taught me anything or we talked about anything of significance whatsoever. Ever. I don't remember a single conversation. I don't even remember a conversation at all between me and my biological dad. I don't even remember us talking about anything. All I remember is him chasing me around and then C. Lori chasing me around with one of my toys, trying to hit me with a toy. But the hoarder house was so full of stuff that she couldn't hit me because I was ducking and weaving. And I was like 3'1", just I was dodging the wrenches and the tubbo chubbos in my house because there was like a maze. It was a maze because there was so much stuff there. So I could get on her and says, "See, Laura's a tubbo chubbo." Her tub rolls bounce off everything and make dents and everything. She couldn't catch me, of course. So I was just going around, and she couldn't catch me, and she would always do this. She would always try to get me, and then I would run away from my life. And I always remember running away from my life, feeling I was going to die, like feeling like I was literally going to die. Because I probably was going to if they caught me. And then the one time my dad scraped me across the ledge where the stairwell is, and then he like scraped up my entire side. I don't know. It was really bad. And then, of course, when I went to school, it was no better because I was such an easy target to be picked on. And because I was so quiet and I didn't have any personality whatsoever, so I had no idea how to stand up for myself or anything. So I would get bullied like you don't even understand. And this is not just elementary school. This went on my entire life until the end of high school, the very end of high school, when I finally learned how to even slightly stand up for myself or have any type of personality of my own. Like, I was the type of kid who'd sit there and you know how like an adult would ask you like, "How are you doing today, son?" Like, and I would be the type of kid to be like too scared to even move. Or I mean, I'm good, I'm good. And then I looked at their big breasts. Now I would, but I was the type of meek, like wimpy coward. I wouldn't even say wimpy coward, just like didn't have any social skills because, like I said, I never got taught anything. I just had to learn everything on my own, so it came a lot later in life for me. Didn't even hit puberty until I was 21, legendary. Like a true hero would, of course. And I didn't know what to do in life because I would go from my house to school, get bullied the entire day, and then I would go to school at 6 in the morning, and I wouldn't be picked up again because C. Lori would leave me places for extended amounts of time. So I'd go there at 6 in the morning, and then I wouldn't get out until 3 when you get out, right? You get out at 3 p.m. But Lori wouldn't pick me up until 6 for no reason. She would just leave me there until 6. And then as time went on, when I got older, she would just literally leave me at the place and never pick me up and make me walk home. And a lot of my schools were, my college was 10 miles away. My other college was like 13 miles away. And then my regular school was like 8 miles away. So I'd have to walk home 8 miles. And yet she would let me do that, but she wouldn't let me stay home alone. So she would take, it's so insane. Everything makes no sense. She would make me walk home from places, be completely okay with leaving me places, but then she literally would not let me stay home alone, like my entire life. So she would literally force me to go to places with her. Like, she would force me to go to CVS with her, or even pretend like we're going to eat or something, because her whole thing was manipulation. I didn't know what manipulation even was at all. Like, I didn't know what the word manipulation was or what it meant or how she was manipulating everything. So she would say, oh yeah, we're going to like Olive Garden, get in the car or whatever. And then she would take me to CVS, where she would sit there for 5 hours, and she was like a psycho coupon lady who would be buying. So like I said, she wouldn't feed me, but she would buy 35 rolls of toilet paper or something. And like, oh, we have so much food. I look in the pantry, we have nothing but an M&M in a Hershey bar that she would milk down and eat herself. Like, it was the most. She would literally she would eat 3 things: salmon that she would cook for herself, Hershey bars that she would melt down, and strawberries and whipped cream. And she would just eat whipped cream out of the bottle the entire day and stuff her tubby little face with a tub of little T-Rex arms. All day with strawberries and whipped cream. That's the only thing she would buy. And she stole all the child support, because when we moved out of my dad's house, both of them had really good jobs, but he still had to pay her, like, it was a good amount of money. It was like $3,000 a month or close. It's like $2,800 a month or something like that. And all that money, plus she made like, this woman was a teacher somehow. Well, of course, a 3rd grade remedial reading, where she actually doesn't have to know anything, of course. But think about how those kids turned out. Those kids are probably serial killers at this point. So I had to, she stole all the child support money, didn't use it on me at all. And then she would go on these dates with these guys who would get drunk. She would get drunk with them and then like not even sleep at the house and stuff. And trust me, those were the best days of my life though, because then I got to be home alone. Oh my God, that was the best. Whenever she would leave the house and I got to, like, when this was when I was like 18, and then I just told her I'm not going with her anymore. Like, after 17 was like the age where I was like, I'm just not going with you. You can't force me to go with you. Because she would force me to go literally everywhere she went, and it was so infuriating. When I did get to be home alone, it was the best thing in the world, not to have to deal with her and just like relax for 1 second, not have to worry about things like, well, obviously she would shut off my there's so much. I'm not even going to go to that part yet, because I'm still telling you about my childhood. So in my childhood, so lots of bad things happened. I got bullied super, super bad my entire life. To the point where I literally had to go to the hospital because some kid was kicking me in the balls, and it wasn't a hot girl. If it was a hot girl, I would have been so happy. Like, every single day, like, on the playground, they would literally run and chase me. And there was a group of like 12 kids, and I swear, in every single class I went to, they would bully me. It was insane. And then they would run around at recess and try to dogpile on me and suffocate me to death. And I literally thought I was going to die, like, especially back then when I didn't know how to stand up for myself. Like, if this ever happened now, I'd obliterate those kids. Like, it wouldn't even be a second thought. Like, it's insane to me that this even happened to me, because I know how I am today. And like, but that's what made me what I am today, because that's why I'm so strong now. That's why I'm always thinking 40 steps ahead. Like, the Maestro would literally set up a booby trap with an anvil falling on the guy's head. I would literally Tasmanian devil the shit out of those kids. But like, back then when I was such a like clueless and just didn't have any life experience. But so as time went on, we finally moved into a new house. We moved into a new house, and she just tried to make my life as hard as possible. As soon as my dad wasn't there, she just took out everything on me and made my life as hard as possible. So she would obviously leave me places and make me walk home, super annoying. She would shut off my electricity to my room. Like, I would have to stand in front of the electricity box and try to make it so she couldn't shut it off. She would shut off my bathroom water to my bathroom. She would steal my weights, so I couldn't do my weights. She would steal my computer that I paid for myself, and there was no Pornhub tabs open. Not a single one. She would steal my iPad. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 19 when I bought it myself. She wouldn't let me, because I couldn't text anybody. Like I said, everybody else was doing all these like things, like and having friends and stuff like that. But I didn't have that because I wasn't allowed to go anywhere or do anything, and I didn't have a cell phone, and I couldn't do anything. But yeah, she would shut off my electricity. So she of course ripped the door off the hinges and then tried to blame it on me. So she backwards. So you know how the door goes one way? She ripped it off backwards off its hinges. Her and C. Elizabeth when they were trying to get to me. And this is like a flimsier door, so it's not like a hardwood door. It was just a regular like plastic door. So she ripped it off its hinges, so I would have no privacy. So I had no privacy my entire life because she was just sitting and looking into my room the entire time. And then she just made it impossible for me to live. Like every time I woke up, I didn't know if I was gonna have stuff taken or my electricity shut off. And the thing was I was the best kid. I literally just wanted to sit there, do my schoolwork, because I never missed a single class or a single day of school. I never missed a single homework assignment. I never had a sip of alcohol. Of course, I'm immune to all alcohol and all drugs. I've never had a single drug, never had a single alcohol, even though I was peer pressured into it every second of every day, or every time, like, I've went out or whatever, like, obviously, like, when I was, like, 20 and stuff, but, but I never did anything. I was literally like the best kid, like exemplary kid, like one of those goody two shoes girls who you see in the movies who can never do anything wrong in their dad's eyes or whatever. But somehow the Maestro I was perfect in every way. I just wanted to sit in my room, be left alone, and not be harassed. And she couldn't do it. And she stole all my money in my bank account before I was 18. She turned my entire like extended family against me, because my entire extended family, they actually weren't bad people. Like they weren't like Cruella DeVille lookalikes, you know, like C. Lori. Like they weren't like really bad people, but she just turned them against me because she would say I'm a woman beater and say that every day I would harass her and try to like do things to her, like swear at her or something, when in reality she would swear at me every single day, put me down, say she wanted me to go live on the streets and beg for my money and that I would never amount to anything, and call me every single name she could possibly think of. Of course that's not that many, so I have IQ of a negative dung roach, so she really couldn't think of that many names to call me, so I'll give her that. And she has no common sense whatsoever, so she couldn't like decipher like thoughts and sentences, but like the things she would say to them, and then I would have to like talk to them, because she would bring me over to like the family parties or whatever, and it would be so awkward because I'm like, how do I even have a conversation with someone who thinks, like, I remember my aunts pulling me aside and be like, you're a woman beater, we know what you do. And meanwhile, I'm like 11 years old. I've never laid a hand on anyone my entire life, and the only thing I've had to deal with is her calling the police on me for things I didn't do, hitting me, scratching me, and then calling the police, hitting me in the face with a keyboard, and calling the police on me, not calling the police on me for not doing my chores, actually scratching me. I took photos of it. She took my iPad and deleted them. Like, she's actually hit me and then called the cops on me multiple times, and then called the cops on me for not doing chores that I'm literally doing. Like, she would literally stand over me, and like I'd be doing the garbage, right? She'd be standing over, that's not how you do the garbage. You need to place this in this exact spot. I'm like, why don't you just do it yourself? If you're gonna stand over me, and then while I'm doing the garbage, she would be screeching in the background like a banshee, like a chihuahua, a barking miniature chihuahua. Michael, get me a glass of water. Meanwhile, she's right in the kitchen. Get yourself a glass of water. Why do I have to go all the way downstairs to get you a glass of water? Michael, I need you to go shovel the snow. Michael, go do the dishwasher. Michael, go mow the lawn. Michael, there's a rock that needs to be moved. Michael, I'm calling the cops on you. Michael, I'm calling the cops on you right now if you don't get down here. Michael, did you hit your sister? She told me you hit her. I'm like, I'm not even in the same room as her. I'm not even this. And then see Elizabeth. Oh my God, that's another topic to get to. Oh my God, I never want to use that voice ever again. By the way, I might have to slap myself in the face for using that voice. Not that my voice is that great. The Maestro is an orphan hero, but so so yeah, see Elizabeth would make my life even harder because there were some days where C. Lori wouldn't harass me, just a few days. Like one day she would go absolutely psychotic, then the next day she could be like, leave me alone. It would be so nice. And then C. Elizabeth would tell her that I did something that I didn't do, that I had nothing to do with, that makes literally no sense. And then she would come and try to kick me out of the house. She's made me sleep in my car. She's made me sleep outside. Like I said, she took all the child support money. The worst thing is, she treated C. Elizabeth so good and she made it so she had everything. She bought her a brand new Honda Civic where I literally had no car my entire life, and she made me sit in a car seat until I was 19. We don't say that one too loud. She made me sit in a car seat going to my prom. She wouldn't even get me new clothes. I still have the same. Let me see if I have the same clothes that I think I do have the same clothes that I. What's that deal? What is this from? This has got to be like from 2009. I still have the same clothes my entire life. My entire life. It's got stains on and everything. Like I've had the same clothes. I never got bought new clothes. Like I've had the same clothes my entire life. I think this is from 2009 or 2010. But like I have multiple like T-shirts that are just so beat up from like 2010, and like I never got bought anything new, even though she got so much money in child support. And I think to myself like, oh, how much money could I have, like how good of a place would I have been in if she didn't take out student loans in my name and then I had to pay them all back, $60,000, and then if I had all the money from the like 12 years of child support that my dad had to pay, which was like $2,800 a month, and because he had a good job too, he was a computer scientist, so way too fancy of anything. So he made like $120,000 a year or something. Back then, it's insane money, and somehow he was still acted like he was so poor, and somehow he lived in a hoarder house. I just don't understand it. But because both of them were just so terrible with money and didn't know how to do anything. But yeah, the Maestro is the complete opposite. Like I'm so good with my money. Like I make sure to only spend it on strippy airs. I mean, I go to church. I mean, the Maestro is so good with his money. I save it. I save all my money. I make sure to only make good purchases. That's why I buy $50 steaks every time I go to the grocery store. Treachery. But no, I'm the complete opposite. Like I always think about my future and what like I need to do in the future to like make my life better. And all those times like that she's gaslighting me, like because I never knew what gaslighting meant. I never knew what manipulation meant. But the entire time that she's doing like the manipulation to my family and telling them that, like I finally realized what it was, because I could never explain what it was. Because she would literally drag me to like the counselor when I was like 12 years old, and then like because she just wanted like verification from the counselor that she was doing everything right, of course, because I was 12 years old and had no idea how to actually explain myself to the counselor. So I'd be sitting in those like counseling sessions and I was so furious, and I didn't know how to express what she was doing to me, and it just made me so mad because I didn't know how to like actually express that. And like I always just wanted to get out. I'm like, I just can't wait to get out. Like I hate this person. I hate this evil, Knievel, just Sauron loving, Smeagol enthusiast, diabolical, plankton loving dung roach. Like I just wanted to get out so bad, and I would do anything to do that. Like in my mind, like in the situations where she literally hit me, then called the cops on me, and then the cops were there and they're like, oh well, where did he hit you? And she had like pointing to a random place, and there's no bruise, no mark, nothing. And then I would try to show them like that she hit me, and they wouldn't listen to me. And I didn't even know how to talk to them because I had no social skills, of course. So I didn't even know. I was so mad and angry, I didn't even know how to talk to them and explain like what actually happened. And so like I don't think anyone understands how embarrassing it is. Obviously, I've been embarrassed my entire life, like by things that C. Lori would do. Like when she went and made me like go to the CVS or whatever, she would like to sit there for 3 hours while she does her coupons, so I could hate my life even more. She would do this thing where when we were at the counter, the entire time we're at the counter, she'd be telling the cash register, the person we don't even know, that I was such a horrible woman beater and I harassed her, and she would do the same thing to my family. But she would do that to the people we don't even know, and then it would be so awkward because I'd be sitting there like, what do I even say to these people? Like, do I say something to these people or do I just stay quiet? And I'm like, either way, I was thinking about it now, and I'm like, either way, no matter what I did, I would just seem like crazy or like we like because if I stay silent, then I I I I don't. I just look like she's just saying stuff, and I kind of look bad because it's just weird. It makes no sense. But then if I like say something, then I look weird and bad because why am I explaining this to a person I don't even know, or trying to explain it that I don't know how to explain it to the person that I don't even know. It's just so. It was such a horrible situation, and it made me so mad. Like if you ever have someone who's supposedly loves you and they call the police on you, they don't love you. If someone ever calls the police on you, ever, unless you're literally trying to kill them, like actually like with a knife in your hand trying to kill them or something, that's the only. Even then, I wouldn't even call the police because I just deal with it myself. I would never call the police for any situation really, because the police will ruin you. Because I remember getting taken outside in handcuffs, and it was just the most humiliating, horrible thing. And at that moment, I'm like, yeah, I will never love you again. Not that I ever even knew what love was, and I didn't love her anyway. But I'm just like, I told her like I would never love you ever again, and I never did. I never did. Completely armed. I farmed her like one of the kobolds from Elwyn Forest. But it was just like, how can you do that to someone you say you love and then lie to the cops and tell them that I hit her when I'm literally 40 pounds because she hasn't fed me my entire life? I'm literally like a frail, sickly little fucking child who is never malnourished, and it's just so insane and infuriating. And I didn't know how to explain it to anybody, but yeah, but like she would do things like she's done so many things. Like she and my best friend was in the room when she did this, but she got naked, farted, rolled around in my bed and was farting and was saying, I'm farting in your bed, stinking it up and stenching it up, and I haven't showered in a week. And she was rolling around in my bed naked farting. Dude, imagine, dude, that is a scene that could kill the most heroic. That could have killed Gandalf. That was. You have to be an absolute hero to even survive something like that. My God, but my friend will verify it was the most disgusting thing. I mean, she just made my life as horrible as possible every second, and I think like I just think about like how easy my life could have been if she just used my child support money to actually help me. Didn't try to ruin my life in every possible way, made it so I had absolutely no friends and got picked on my entire life. Just like try to ruin my life in every way and turn my entire family against me. And the thing is, I could potentially try to like make amends with my family, but like the thing is, I have nothing to make amends. I never did anything. They just think I'm like terrible, so it's just so awkward and weird, and I don't know how to even like deal with that or even want to or like care enough to. Because what got me by every single day when I was literally in my room just listening to Eminem music. Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once. I was in my room every single day, just thinking about getting a better life, just figuring out like what I needed to do to get a better life, and it was so hard because I didn't know what I needed to do, and like how I was gonna ever get out. But I knew like I just had to try to like not say anything, and it got to the point where they were literally they after they had ripped off my door, I got a replacement door. Finally, after like 10 years, like 3 months before I was about to move out. So I only got a door I only got to live with a door for like 3 months my entire life. But I finally got a replacement door, and they got a she bought a hardwood door. Thank God. And she couldn't break it. So I even got a picture of this. I put all my like weights and stuff in front of the door, and they tried to break in the middle of the night to literally attack me in the middle of the night. And I was so glad I had my weights because of course they're the weakest, most leprechaun ballerina, just worthless twig humans. So they couldn't push through the weights in the door. because it was hardwood now, which was nice. And so I would barricade myself in the room. I couldn't even go to the bathroom in peace because she would come in the bathroom because the bathroom door, of course, had a lock where you could just unlock it from the outside. You just twisted it. It's so dumb. So she could come in the bathroom whenever I'm taking a poo and just stand on top of me and harass me the entire time. My God. And then C. Elizabeth, oh my God. C. Elizabeth made my life as hard as possible. She tried to ruin me in every possible way. Her snaking, conniving, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Arnold ways. She would say I hit her and that I was saying stuff to her when I hadn't said a single word to her. I haven't even been near her. Of course, I don't want to go near her. She smells like Jabba the Hutt's ass. And she would literally kill a fully grown elephant with her smell. And oh my God, the spider of death, the Shelob just ambushed me, man. Shelob just ambushed me. That's a good metaphor for C. Lori, though. But she doesn't really ambush. She's just so obvious. She's like Pumbaa in the watering hole. It's just really obvious. But C. Elizabeth, oh my God, C. Elizabeth would make my life as hard as possible. I just did this quest. C. Elizabeth, C. Lori would not only would she leave me places, but she would also just drop me off places. So there was one time when she was literally just trying to I haven't seen my dad in 10 years, right? And she was literally just trying to drive over and drop me off at my dad's house, who I hadn't seen in 10 years. And she was like, now you're just going to live with him. I'm like, but I haven't even talked to him in 10 years. How are you going to just drop me off randomly? Like, what the she would just drop me off at, she only has one friend her entire life, who she grew up with, is like her one friend, and the friend knows she's crazy and everything. So she she understands that she's a nut job, that she's absolutely psychotic. So she would literally just go over and drop me off at that woman's house, and I would be there for like a week straight, just like there, like, and it'd be like, what the how are you just dropping me off here for a week straight, and you think it's okay? And it makes no sense. It would make me so mad. It would make me so mad because she's like, well, you can go live with your uncle. And like, what are you talking about? You literally told him I'm a woman beater. And she would just say these random things out of the, randomly. You can just go live here with your grandma. Okay, just go live there. Like, what are you talking? She would say things that are completely delusional, that made no sense to the conversation, that were just literally, just defy the law of intelligence. And she would do this all the time. Like, she would change the subject. Like, she could be talking to, like, my aunt about, like coffee or something, just a random topic, and then she'd be like, and by the way, Michael is a harassing woman beater. Did you know that? Like, out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. It'd be like, what the and she would do this all the time, like in every single conversation, and then it was unreal to deal with, it's almost like it's like so weird to even combat against that, because then she puts you in such a weird, awkward situation, and you're like, well, why is she even saying that? And it makes no sense whatsoever, and then it completely takes the conversation off tracks, especially when she's doing it to other people and I'm in front of them, and she's doing it in front of me and the people, and it's like, what the how is this even possible? But yeah, she would so for me, she would never do anything for me, try to ruin my life, make me sleep outside, do everything she possibly could to ruin my life. She even took my router that I paid for, because I paid for the internet, and she took it to her school to hide it from me. So I had to go into her school and find it in the janitor's closet. I found our router in the janitor's closet. Like, what the and I had to bring it back home. And this is just to do my homework. I just wanted to be sitting here left alone. I literally, like I said, I was the best kid. I didn't say a single word to that. By the way, she would consider me not saying a word to them as harassment. Michael's harassing me again today because he didn't talk to us. Like, what the and I had to deal with this every single day. And like I said, the way I dealt with it was in my head. I was like, if you never give up, you're going to be successful against Allah's. Never give up in this world, no matter what happens, no matter what you go through, no matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many nights you hate your life so much that you feel like you can't go on. Press on even harder. Never give up, no matter what happens. No matter I'm sitting there with no air conditioning, no water, no electricity, sometimes sleeping in my car, walking home from places, never having any lunch, set up in the worst way for my future. Never give up in this world because you will be successful against all odds. And I never gave up in this world. I drove 28 hours down to Texas like an absolute unstoppable hero against the tides of death, a gallant crusader of light striding across the battlefield, making out with sexy grannies on the way and getting girls preggo just from looking at them. Okay, like I said, and in my mind, when she was gaslighting, and like in my mind, when the cops took me out, and she was telling the cops that I had hit her, when she had literally just hit me in the face with a keyboard and I was bleeding all over, and she was trying to tell the cops that I hit her, when she had literally, I was sitting in my room doing absolutely nothing. Then C. Elizabeth and C. Lori started plotting and planning against me. I have the whole thing on camera, and you can go watch it. It's posted on my YouTube, so you can go watch the whole thing. But this is just one of the many times that this has happened. And in my head, I'd be, to stop me from actually being violent in real life. In my head, I was just doing all these things, killing them in my head over and over. I was killing them in my head, and all the, in the cartoon ways where they kill you with a freaking bomb explodes, the grenade explodes, all these things to like in my head do it because I didn't want to do it in real life because I'm like, I have to never do this in real life because I have to be successful against all odds, and that's going to be the best revenge for all the bullies who always told me that I wasn't going to be anything, and for C. Lori who said I'm going to beg for my money and live on the streets, for all that I'm not going to ever do anything violent, even in self-defense, because women always win, and even if you do something in self-defense, they'll still somehow turn it back on you. Because think about it, she hit me in the face with a keyboard. I'm bleeding all over, and the cops don't even take her to prison. How is that even possible? If I even like sniffed near her, she would say that's assault. Oh, he sneezed near me. That's assault. Instantly call the cops. Like, it's insane. Like the double standard. But I mean, that's the way it is. It's disgusting. But so I'm like, I can never do anything. And the thing was, she would literally provoke, and I would never give her a response. And she hated that even more because that's how what she would say was harassment. That she would literally come provoke me, turn my electricity off, come swear at me, call me all sorts of names, do everything she possibly could to provoke me, and I wouldn't say a single word to her because I know if I did, then she would actually like do everything she could, even more, to ruin my life. Like she would like obviously if I ever defended myself physically, then she would somehow like get the cops to actually do, because the cops would come and not be able to do anything because I never did anything to her. So besides the one time they took me outside in handcuffs, which was actually the most disgusting thing ever, when I literally did nothing. I was 11 years old for no reason. It was actually insane. But yeah, I've just had so many like horrible, embarrassing moments in my life, and like I've had so many embarrassing moments. Like you don't even understand. Like since I had no friends or anything, and I had nobody there at my graduation, not a single person clapped for me when I was going across the stage. Like that was pretty like awkward. Like everyone was clapping for everybody else, and then they called my name, and nobody knew who I was. I was just nobody. Like it was. I've had so many, and then like the principal like didn't even shake my hand. Like I literally just walked across the stage. I didn't even want to go to the graduation because I already knew like that would happen. Like I've had so many embarrassing moments where it's just like, and that's why I don't get embarrassed. That's why I can never get embarrassed anymore. That's why I'm able to think 30 steps ahead. The Maestro literally would find second America. The Maestro thinks so far ahead. I now I have like so much like emotional intelligence to like, I know what other people are thinking, and like just based off like their gestures and the way they're standing and the way their eye movement is and everything, I've learned so much and like become so legendary and so like nothing. I'm unbreakable, unstoppable, undeniable, god tiered, like from all this stuff that I've been through. So I'm so glad that I went through all the things that I went through. But yeah, I don't think anybody can actually know what it feels like to just be at night and feel so hopeless. Like maybe some people can. A lot of people can these days because of how bad things are, like with the economy and just how hard it is to get a job and stuff like that. But like I've never been given anything. I've always had to just work so hard, and I hated it so much because she would literally tell my family not only that I beat them or whatever, or swore at them and all this stuff, but she would also tell them that I had no job and did nothing. When I worked 8 different jobs while getting my master's degree by 21. So I got my master's degree in 3 years of college. Where you're supposed to go to 4 years of college, and then a master's degree is usually 3 more years. So I did a 7-year degree in 3 years. And while doing that, I was working at the provost office. I worked at a pizza place. I worked at a wedding place. I worked in electricity sales. I worked for my college. I worked for Aero Pastel. I worked for American Eagle. I worked for like 8 different jobs while I was getting my master's degree. And she would tell my family that I'm a lazy, good for nothing while doing all the chores in the entire house. And she would tell like my extended family that I'm a good for nothing run to. Obviously, she would never have these expressive of words. Says she should go back to 3rd grade and she has a reading level of a fucking dung roach. But she did all this stuff and oh, this is how you get to the next place. What the sketchy? What the she would tell them that, and I'm like, and then the thing is, you know how you don't have a good relationship. If you don't have a good relationship with someone, you can't really just like talk to them randomly. Like, same thing for, like it. Since she talked to my extended family all the time, she could tell them all this stuff, whereas I didn't talk to them much, so I couldn't really tell them. Like, these were lies, you know? Like, they're not going to believe me. So every time she would tell them that, and I'd be like, that's not true at all. Like, I'm literally getting my master's degree while working 7 jobs. Like, I'm not lazy. I'm not, while doing all the chores and everything that she tells me to do, while I don't have my internet and electricity more than half of the time. And it was just, like, insane, like, because that made me the most mad that I was doing all this. And she was telling me that I wasn't doing it, and she was telling the family that I wasn't doing it, and making me look so bad when I was doing all this stuff while she made it so hard for me to do all this stuff. And it's just so insane, and like I wasn't able to like go to any parties or just have any fun my entire life. Like, just my entire life has been really hell on earth. That's why I'm so unhappy. My entire life I don't even know what a smile is. Like, I've never smiled or been happy my entire life. Like, I don't even know what the Maestro's mind is so advanced. The Musk Mice's mind is so advanced that like I know what the joke is before it even happens. Like, and like I just don't even find anything funny anymore. And it's sad, kind of, in life. Like, I don't find anything funny anymore unless I actually make myself laugh. Literally, I'm the only one who can make myself laugh and like smile. Like, I just don't really find anyone. I don't know, like, it's hard. Maybe, like, when you have friends, like, but I've never really had many friends. Just, I have my one best friend, Dad, but I don't really get to, and I have a few, like, other friends now, like, littered throughout the country, but, like, obviously you don't get to see them because they live far. So I do have a few, like, friends who I would like to talk to, but obviously, like, I don't really get to do that. And my goal in life was to everybody who helped me in life, which was very few, but those few people who really were by my side and helped me, I would give them anything and exalt them to the highest levels of Mount Mice Olympus. Like, Dad, my best friend who I call Dad, I'm going to buy him a house and when I get enough money, because I will never give up. I'll never give up until I make it to where I want to be, and then even push past that into the highest levels and just never give up and do everything I can to be victorious. So when I do that, I'm gonna buy like my best friend's houses and everything. And obviously, I'm not to that level yet, but I'm never gonna give up because he was always like by my side and tried to like help me, because obviously Laura would drop me off. That's the best friend that she would drop me off at. The mom was his mom, so Laura would drop me off at that kid's house, my best friend, and leave me there for like a week, but. So I have so much more to do in life, but like as of right now, like I haven't gotten to where I wanted to get. Obviously, I've made great progress because I try to look at things like, I mean, I am in a decent spot. I made it out of that horrible place that I was in, moved down to Texas, bought my own house, finally got my own car. It was my dream to always have my own car. And which is pretty good for being 21 years, for 7 years in a row in this terrible economy. Obviously, it's not to where I wanted to be. I wanted to have a Lambo now and stuff like that. I don't even care about having a Lambo now, though. I just want like a really nice car. Like, I want a Mercedes or like Aston Martin. I want an Aston Martin. I love Aston Martin. Like James Maestro Bond. and just in suave, so suave, so silky, so smooth, so delectable. Yeah, I'm gonna be like James Bond, literally, and like Julius my Caesar. But in life, I'm gonna do all that stuff. It's gonna take me a little bit more time because of the situations that I've gotten put in my entire life, and I feel like I've been in really on my own always. Like I've always been on my own. I'm a lone wolf hero. Like not just then, but even when I moved to Texas, C-Prop was good. I made C-Prop as a friend, but it's not like he like was able to like further me. Like I've never met anyone who like wants to help me like get a good job. When I'm so skilled at sales, I'm really good at talking to people. Like I said, I'm really good with like emotional intelligence and can tell like when people like something, when people don't, when to switch the conversation, when I need to. Because I never had that my entire life, but as time went on, I was able to learn it. I was able to learn it and so much better than like anyone. So I'm able to like tell that kind of stuff, and that's really good in sales because you can tell when the person you can tell when the person doesn't want to talk to you or when they're getting disinterested or where you need to look or what you need to do. Like there's a lot of things that you need to know when doing sales, like how to actually like talk to someone. So like it's really annoying because I want to do all this stuff, but I can't really seem to find a job. And now that streaming doesn't make me enough money anymore, because obviously if no one has any money, they can't donate. And plus, like there's a million things that kind of ruined me with streaming. Obviously, me getting banned for a year for doing nothing wrong, and it's ridiculous. And then they have to apologize to me for banning me, but because they never answer me multiple different times and stuff like that. Obviously, that ruined me. And then me just hating video games in general didn't help. And then me not having a car, of course, so I couldn't go anywhere. There's a million different things that were just really horrible. I try not to even like blame it on that, but because I could have still worked even harder and just try. I don't know, like just been even more consistent. Like obviously I was really consistent streaming, but I would get so annoyed because I hated video games so much that I didn't want to sit there and play, because I don't like video games at all. I did it in my earlier years because I liked them, and then as time went on, once I hit like 18, I didn't like it anymore. But that's when I started streaming. And the thing is C. Lori just let me stream because, like I said, she wouldn't let me play video games and she wouldn't let me do all this stuff, even though I literally paid for WoW. I literally would buy the prepaid time cards and put them on my account, and she put parental controls on my account, even though I paid for it. And I wasn't able to stream. She wouldn't let me stream, and she wouldn't let me play video games or anything, or stream or do anything on the internet. And of course, I didn't have a what's it called? I didn't have a I wasn't allowed to like do anything. I didn't have a phone or anything. Like I couldn't stream from anywhere, you know. And a lot of the times I didn't have internet and stuff like that. But in general, she wouldn't let me get a webcam. She wouldn't let me do any of that stuff. So I couldn't stream. But I think back to it, I could have started streaming earlier. How much money I could have made, because I could have got in on the lower levels where. Like, you know, when Recful or whoever started streaming, I got in way late and was still able to make a name for myself, you know? So I wonder what I could have done if she just let me do that. But, you know, can't go back and, you know, see what I could have done. All I can do is press on, press forward, and never give up. And that's what I do every single day. The Maestro's unstoppable, undeniable, majestic beyond belief, God-tiered beyond renown. I will never stop. I will never falter. I will never fall. And every single day I just do whatever I can to make my life better. Every single day, like, do whatever I can. Now, let me tell you a little story. A little story of the Maestro, the hero, born atop the highest peaks of Mount Olympus, as the lightning crackled and the thunder boomed in the depths. Zeus came down from the heavens, paired with the Gandalf beam of light that shot down from the sky one last time. I am the one light, holier than thou, majestic beyond belief, God-tiered beyond renown. I have eaten the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. I have looked the snake in the eyes, and I have resisted him. I have traveled to the highest peaks of the Mycenaean mountaintops, and I have smote down the Bell Rock and smote his ruin on the mountainside. You think yourself a match for me, but you are a mere mortal to my unstoppable devotion, my god-tiered renown. I am the wielder of the secret flame of Maestro. Atop the highest peaks I shall screech. Once and for all, I will smite down all evil in this world and vanquish it from these lands. Sea Lori will never win against me. I will press on, pull my Excalibur from its sheath. I am the wielder of the light. The three knights of the Round Table, Sir Lancelot, Sir Richard Lionheart, and King Arthur, stand with me and guide me from this day until my last day, giving me the strength and determination to never give up, the perseverance to press on to the brink of absolute and utter despair, and the will to succeed against all odds. I am the harmonious light, the righteous one, the divine, the savior of this world, the grace of these lands, the uncorrupted one, majestic beyond belief, holier than thou. My unstoppable devotion shall hold true. My tremendous feats shall not go unnoticed. My unbreakable spirit shall not be broken. I am the epitome of all humanity. I am baptized in the light, embodied by the light, the one true Crusader of light in this world. I am the savior, and I shall echo throughout the ages my penultimate epicness. I am one with the light in the absolute darkness, and my unyielding bond shall never be shattered. The light shall grant me one final blessing to shatter these bonds to victory. I shall not stop, I shall not quit, I shall not falter, I shall not fall, and I will rise to victory as the savior of this world in absolute prominence, like Julius Mice Caesar, like George Mice Washington, like Alexander Mice Great. The statues of light shall be built in my honor. The chariots of light shall await me, and I shall never give up in this world. As the beacons of everlasting faith shall be lit in my honor, the Holy Grail shall give me everlasting life. My potential is unmatched, as I am the vanquisher of all evil and the key to all hope in this world. The harps of light shall play. Beethoven's 57th Orchestra shall sound. The Shakespearean sonnets will echo throughout the ages for one last everlasting blessing. As the hummingbirds hum the tune of light, the darkness shall shatter, and I shall be victorious in this life, if it's the last thing I ever do. And ye shall follow your prince to whatever end, for it shall not be my end, but it shall be theirs. Light, guide my way, now and always. Mice out. And the sound of the dying maestro shall echo throughout the ages one last time. For I shall be resurrected once more, as the Savior always was. And with the slight smirk on his face, and the slight ruffle of his lion's mane, and the slight twinkle in his eye that never goes out, the maestro never gives up. Make sure you like this video if you liked it and share it with all the other Peziantes.